Is there capital longevity?
20,000 for the total. This, and then it's distributed like whoever meets that criteria.
But I mean, they have a 1 year.
I think it's 1 year.
So what would you have?
You're not making my income any better.
Well, I don't know that they have too many that meet the criteria.
Just put on the map. Somebody at the bar has to do
Yeah, we like it.
So what kind of average it out? You have any luxury that they have. Yeah, Mitch by. I did hear it by the radio.
Went up. That's kind of why I'm looking at.
That's like a grant. And nobody. Check out gas, right? How that works.
Right. Anything.
All right, everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
With liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for coming. We've got a full house, full table, and a full agenda. So we will get through everything as quickly as possible, but we'll make no promises. First up, minutes of regular meeting, November 4th. Has everyone had a chance to review the previous meeting's minutes? We have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
All in favor of approving minutes of regular meeting of November 4th, 2024? Okay. Bridge 58, Brickyard Bridge, County Highway Superintendent Scott Sills is in person, and we got John with HWC. Is he on?
I don't see him now.
That's fine. I don't know that there's, Scott, you wanna come up? I don't know that there's really a whole lot to talk about, right?
No.
Just, I guess, give us the 50,000 foot view. I think everyone's pretty well educated.
Of course, it was awarded. The company will be Force Construction. They'll be building the bridge. The bridge come in at about roughly 200,000 cheaper than the engineer's estimate was, so. We just need to make sure that money's there, because we're gonna start paying for it probably either the end of the month or beginning of January.
Yeah, so once we get through everything on the back page, we've got a bridge repairs for the total. Now that's That is for Michelle, the edit fund 1112. That is for both that bridge and the advance payment for the culvert of 30,000, right?
No, that's just for the bridge because it was 630. I went up because at the time, they had told me that that was kind of an estimate. Is that the hard number?
We should have a hard number now.
Yeah.
That is,
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood that then.
So
Um,
630.
think
I'll find the exact amount that
it's
she.
rather get a little high than a little low, obviously.
What do you do now?
Well, it's 20%, right?
Mhm.
I mean, bid came in at, yeah, so it's roughly 620, 630.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, advance payment of culvert for 30,000. What is
We
that?
have that money.
Yeah, we're just transferring that because we're getting a cheaper rate now than we will if we order it next year and we've got the money.
We've ordered it, it's just won't, the culvert will not physically be here until the end of the year, but we
Gotcha.
wanna go ahead and pay for it with the money we have this year.
What kind of culvert is it for 30,000?
Similar to a box, but it's a metal box, it's a concrete.
Oh, okay.
Where's that going? That will be going on the Hillham Road.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Scott or Teresa?
Need to make a motion on the culvert.
Yeah,
Yeah, we would that, but not,
Not on the bridge yet.
not the bridge yet.
I'll make a motion to pay for the culvert for 30,000. Culvert is transferred.
Yeah, so it's an advance payment.
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa.
Have a good evening.
You're still standing there like you have something else. Did I miss something?
It should be on here later for ARPA funds, right?
yeah, you guys are. They have heating and air, HVAC expense is part of the ARPA. Commissioners approved.
Oh, well, sit down, and join us for a while. Taxpayer Jason McCoy.
President Dan, I got another appointment, so I'll try to make it brief. I know you guys will all appreciate that. So we're moving into a transitional period with this council. Transitional phase, right? Adam, you're on your way out. Jordan, you resigned. I'm worried as a citizen. I'm very worried about those two things. I didn't know who you were, Jordan, until the first time I came in here and asked these guys what their position was on the Mid-States corridor. But as a businessman and a leader, I could tell out of the gate that they had the right person as president. And the fact that you're leaving, gives me cause for concern. There's nothing I can do about it except voice my concern. The fact that Adam's leaving gives me cause for concern. I don't have confidence in the council. I don't have confidence in our commission right now. None of you really knew who I was until this Mid-States corridor project came rolling through, threatening my family's farm and everybody else's farm. I kept quiet for the most part. Right? Jordan, and since you have begun paying attention to the Mid-States corridor issue, and as you've done research, I asked you point blank, not more than 2 weeks ago, week and a half, 2 weeks ago, how is it that our county is so far behind? And you were kind enough to share with me with your research, and I can corroborate this, shows that our elected officials let us down when this came through. And that was before most of your tenure. Warren, I think you were here. Mr. Gibson, I think you were here. Adam, I don't think you were here. Monty, the rest of you guys were probably not necessarily part of that. Maybe you were, I can't quite recall. But this has been on our radar now going on 3 years. And I'm concerned. A year ago, at the behest of Joe Lannon, right? in an effort to forward what I believe was his personal agenda to gain financial favor for a piece of his land. Joe Lannon, wrote a very compelling letter to everybody that was involved at NDOT with regard to the NEPA issues. And every single elected official in this county and city signed it. That was a powerful document, right? It shut the Lockmuller Group down. They had to pay an extra $300,000 to figure out what they're gonna do about that letter that Joe Lannon wrote. So while I don't think it came from a position of what was in everybody else's best interest, it did show NDOT and the Lockmuller Group and the people that are in favor of this road. Wait a minute, these people in Martin County, they're serious about this. They're not just gonna let us roll over them, right? Which is what they were told we were gonna do by, in my opinion, our county attorney. And I've not kept that secret, how I feel about Mr. Lett. Now, we're disjointed with regard to the Mid-States corridor issue. We're disjointed, in my opinion, with regard to other issues too. But I'm backing away from issues like laying my hands on 40 million for historic economic development money that's not our local taxpayer money for the historic revitalization of the Godian Shoals. I'll leave that up to you guys if you want to do that, okay? I tried to get that ball rolling. I think a few of you guys have picked up on it, and I think a few of you guys are rocking and rolling on that. Before I brought that to everybody's attention, nobody lifted a finger to do that. That's okay, don't need credit, but now, on the Mid-States corridor issue, my opinion is that we're disjointed. I think we've made some real bad decisions. Now, there's a couple people in this room that have made some very, very poor decisions. With you at the helm, Jordan, of this council, and with Adam Green sitting to your right, Cody Roush over my right shoulder here, sitting on the county commission. In my opinion, there's at least some hope, right? That you guys can keep things from riding off the rails and keep these people from bulldozing, literally bulldozing right over all of us. But you guys are all gone, and now I'm scared. My style has always been to just sit back and hope that the people I hire to do the job, Warren, Keith, Monty, Adam, Jordan, Sherry, Jim, that you guys are gonna take it seriously and that you're gonna do what I've hired you to do. I'm not seeing it. I'm afraid. There's nothing I can do about you guys leaving. I wish you weren't, right? We've got a new commissioner coming in here who I have nothing against, don't even know the woman. But like most of you who run for public office, before you get elected, I ask most of you to come out and visit with me, or I ask, can we sit down and talk and visit on some issues? What's your platform? What are you running for? Why do you want to sit in this seat? I ask everybody. And when I talked to Retha Warner about that, she said, well, everybody knows me. I think I can get elected. Right? Moose and my boyfriend are best friends. And I think, you know, I can get elected. Everybody knows, okay, but what's your platform? 4 times I asked her what her platform was. She didn't have one. Many people, elected officials in our community, have voiced their concern about that. So now I'm afraid, okay? Before, I've been concerned, and I've come in here before and I've asked everybody, what's your position on the Mid-States corridor? And everybody, most people say, well, you know, we're opposed to it, we'll fight it, we're opposed to it, we'll fight it. I'm sitting at the Lincoln Land dinner with one of the new councilmen that's getting ready to come in, Mr. Gerald Montgomery. Before I even knew he was running, I said, happened to be sitting at the same table when Mark Messmer and Shane Lindauer were speaking at the Republican Lincoln Land dinner. Just happened to say, what's your position on the Mid-States corridor? He said, oh, I don't know, nothing really I can do about it. They're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. That's not why we have you guys here. You're not here to kick the can down the road and to say, well, you know, there's nothing we can do about it. Every councilman and commissioner in DuBois County was against this thing. Until the RDA, until Hank Minke, until people showed up behind the scenes and started putting pressure on them. And they were able to flip those people. And now they got a foothold. And that's how they've been able to start rock and rolling this thing. And now the same thing's happening here, right? With NDOT slipping over, the RDA sneaking over, Mike Braun coming in. You guys got plenty of time. There's no hurry. And what I've seen from some people at this table, instead of doing things to strengthen our position with regard to this, because of ego maybe, or because of personal something or other, have made decisions that have weakened us. Many people have asked me to throw my name in the hat, Jordan, for your seat. Apparently, an independent's never gotten close to 40% of the votes for anything in Martin County. So there were a lot of people who wanted me to have that.
Well, you're certainly in the right district, so.
I am, and thank you for Rutherford. That was, my only landslide there. My point is that, you know, I lost that seat because 67% of Republicans voted straight Republican ticket. Now, some of you guys think you may have dodged a bullet by not having to work with me. Okay? Would have been easier, to work with me if I had that commissioner seat, because now I'm scared. Okay? And I don't like to be scared. I don't want to be afraid for my family's legacy. Okay? So my kids have a saying, my teenage kids have a saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Well, why? Well, because if you're the smartest person in the room, Dad, you're gonna be doing all the work. And I think that's why you two don't want to stay here. Because from where I sit, you guys are pulling the workload, not taking away anything from anybody else doing the work. But I understand why you guys want to leave. And on that note, I'm not certain that I want to take your seat, Jordan. Because if I am caucused in, if I do decide to throw my hat in and I get caucused in, I swear to God, I'm gonna throw the saddle on you people and I'm gonna work you like borrowed Jews.
Are you
Because that's-
threatening us?
Pardon?
Are you threatening us?
Do I need to repeat what I said?
I don't like to be threatened.
Well, I'm telling you,
Let's remain professional.
I'm telling you how I feel about it. I don't feel like as your constituent, I should have to come in here and tell you guys to take your job seriously. There are people along this mid-states corridor route that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars of their own money fighting to protect their land, fighting to protect their heritage, when you guys are the ones supposed to be doing the work. Anything else I say from here, I'm beating a dead horse.
So
Do your job.
let's summarize.
Do your jobs. I want you guys to start taking your job seriously. If there's some of you that are only here for the insurance, please get out. Right? Because there's more important things to do than that. Right? If there's some of you are here because of a reason that's not in the best interest of your constituents, please get out. Let somebody else step up and do the jobs that you guys are unwilling to do. That's my summary. Thank you for letting me say my piece.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Let's moving on, emergency radios for Lost River Township. Lost River trustee Millie Brown.
Say, thank you. Thank you for sitting in the seat that you sit in. I know you don't receive them words very often. But from me and for some of my constituents here from Lost River Township, thank you for what you do. I know you're not appreciated enough, but I thank you. And Jordan, you're gonna be missed. You're my representative on the board. I think you've done one hell of a job.
Thank you.
And I enjoy working with you on several of the projects that we've worked on over the years. If it not have been for some people who spoke up 10 years ago, we wouldn't have a fire station out there. Because the council had to come ahead and come across with $30,000 to match our grant to get that building built. So, with that in mind, the reason why I'm here tonight is because of the radios. These are weather radios. I know that you're all aware of what we went through last year in June with the tornado. Well, one of the things that when we were standing in the cemetery burying Don Bergen, who was one of my high school friends. I've known Don a long time. Whenever he died, his widow was standing there with us in the cemetery. And one of the things that she requested was that the township come up with some sort of alert system, warning system. We didn't know exactly what. So I kind of talked around with our electrician there at home, and he is also fireman down at Celestine. And he said, Millie, he said, we talked about the sirens, and he said, that's an expensive deal. And we figured out it'd probably take 10 of them. Well, you can imagine how much that would cost us. And he said, you know, it would only reach out so far. It wouldn't cover everybody. And then the maintenance alone would probably eat us up. And every time you would have to maintain one, you'd have to get a bucket truck in there to fix it. And so we scrapped that idea. And so he said that what we needed was some weather radios for that. And so that's what we did. We looked into it a little bit and figured out that for $25, we could get a radio for every household. It was just to be for the household, nothing other than, you know, that. And so we bought a few, cost us that amount of money. We bought, I think, 25 just to get started. And then that last fall, we had an open house where we had Homeland Security and different people come in and spoke to us at the open house. And we were given 25 radios, I believe, 25, and those were these from Homeland Security. So, with that going on there, with the radio program, we got about half of the township, almost half. We went out and we handed out a bunch of them at the open house, but we started on the west side and worked our way over. So we've got all these roads over here, all those households over here, and we've got most of Wyndham Road done.
You didn't come across the river about a half a mile and catch me.
Yeah. The tornado started over here.
I watched it start.
You watched it start, I did too. I live right around in here, and so when it came across the river, that tornado, it just totally changed my opinion of what a tornado looked like. It looked like fingers coming down. It wasn't a cone, it wasn't the swirling that you see. But I watched it come across, and when it got over here to Lost River, it turned and went down the river. And then that's when it kind of climbed the hill and hit Don Bergen's place. And then after it hit there, it continued eastward, and then it made a big turn and went down towards Cusco and Hillham area down in here. That was Barry's house, and Bergen's house was the only house it hit. Now over there on Simmons Creek Road, it hit the house all the way around it, never touched the house. We call that house a miracle house. If you would go out there today, you would be amazed at everything that destroyed around that house. But what we want to do now is continue our progress over with radios, but that takes money. And unfortunately, the price of radios have went up. I have allotted in my township budget $1,000 to try to get this going. Well, $1,000 don't go very far. So I talked directly with Midland Radio, and they would give us 100 radios at a discounted price of $26 19 or 26,915 for 100 radios. Now that is their price for that, but I don't have that amount of money. I have to order 100 if I get it at that price. So I'm needing some help as far as funding and that kind of thing. So I talked with Mr. Wolf and Tim Parks about what they think, and they can speak up and say what they want. There are some grants, we think, through different people, but that's gonna take a lot of time, and it usually takes anywhere from like 6 months to whatever to get that done. So I don't know if you guys got any extra money at the end of the year to help us out. I talked a little bit with Paul George, he thinks there might be some money, and I talked a little bit with Michelle if there's some money. But what we would like to do is get the whole township covered. We got more people over in this area, well, there's more roads and stuff, but we've got 2/3 of the people live over here. Unfortunately, that's where most of our first responder calls are at, over in here. And what I'd like to do is get our township made as a model. There is a national program through Midland to get the nation covered. They want to try to get a weather radio in everybody's home, which is a sensible kind of thing. So that's our project for the township, is to try to get this covered and get this done. Now, we do have some radios over here because they picked up the radios, someone picked them up at the open house. But I don't want it to take 3 years to get this job done. I'm thinking we need to get this done. We were very fortunate though. 6 weeks later, it hit down in here in Dubois County. Same thing. Started over here at Hayesville, went east, followed 56 up. A whole lot more damage than what we suffered, but no one was killed. Why? Because I think they had notice. They got notified. Their tornado hit at midnight. What would have happened if it had hit us at midnight? Ours hit on a Sunday afternoon. We were very fortunate there. We had people coming out of the woodwork trying to come to help us. Down here, they had the same, but there was, 56 was blocked. We tried to get down here. Our firemen, after experiencing what we went through, they were trying to go down there because we do have the agreement, that we help each other whenever things happen.
So how much money are we actually talking?
5,200, 5,300,
How much?
5,300.
Are people willing to buy them themselves? I mean, if I wanted to buy
Some people
one.
have them, some people have them. But when we pass these out, you
The-
would not
the
believe how
issue-
grateful people were.
I mean, Millie, what you're asking, like, it puts us in a situation where we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. If we don't, then we're saying
Sure, I
we don't
understand.
care about, such and such over on the east side of Lost River, and that's not true. What, just off the cuff, the problem that I see is we do it for Lost River, and then we've got 5 other townships, right?
Yes.
That are gonna come to the table and wanna do the exact same thing,
You're right.
and
And I think we should. I think the thing of it is, I don't have the funds that this and this has. This one up here is sitting on $250,000.
well, why don't you borrow some from them? I'm
Me?
joking. I'm joking.
You can say that, this is your last meeting.
That's right.
But you understand where I'm coming from. I'd like for us to be the model. We know what we went through. We know what it takes, okay? I'm proud of our fire department, that we went through a lot. We're still going through a lot. We learned a lot from that experience.
I don't
So-
want to speak out, there's a lot of people that look at that as, it's just a radio. You could hand out 50 of them, 49 people might not use it, but 1 might.
Yeah,
That's the thing, and I didn't think I'd ever use it, mine goes off all the time. And I'm surprised at the stuff you hear on, you get a weather broadcast, it's got, all kinds of stuff on it. It's a very neat little tool, and Joel Thacker from Homeland Security, I reached out, he donated about 30. We passed them all out with what Millie purchased, and people's really glad to get it. There again, I understand the money you spend. What a lot of people don't understand is where Lost River's at. We're in the armpit of nowhere. Even to get our fire department paged out adequately, the fire department itself had to buy its own repeater. Which that means when the sheriff's office pages us, it hits our repeater and then rebroadcast, just so we can know what's going on and where to go. So, you know, to have some kind of warning system, we're not like a town where you can set off a siren. By the time people hear it out there in the rural area, it's too late. I mean, you take the burner.
No, I mean, I can't hear the siren from where I'm.
Yeah, and you won't, because the sirens only go so far, and then we're dead.
Another thing I might interject, the sirens are only designed for people that are outdoors. If you're in your house, most of the houses anymore are so well insulated, triple pane windows, everything like that. And you don't hear like you used to because of that. Another thing that's unique in Lost River is when we was down there helping with them, the cell coverage is minimal. Where, you know, a lot of other places around, you know, people get, warnings on there, because you can sign up and get warnings on your cell phone. Well, cell phone don't work, then that doesn't work. So, that's, you know, a major problem with them over, you know, maybe some of the other places where people have better cell coverage. So it makes them a little unique as far as that goes, that where the other townships may not have that issue. But, I talked to my area coordinator today about it, and she said that she wasn't aware of any grants or anything that the state had that would help with it, and, she did not know of any other weather radios available at the state level, but she would check for me. But it's, that program, we gave out probably a couple hundred of them over the years, and that program is pretty well, wrapped up now, and, so, they were fortunate, you know, that they got the last from the state, because they're, I mean, it's pretty well a done deal. I mean, they're not doing it anymore. Now, whether the next governor will, start something like that up again, I do not know. I don't know who will be the next director, because Thacker's gone on at the state level, so no, you know, that's all unknown. But I mean, from what you're getting, it's a pretty good bargain, yeah, because, I go to meetings with, several of the other directors that are trying to maintain siren stuff, and it's extremely expensive to do. And even the maintenance alone on one siren is probably more than what all those.
The thing of it is with this radio is it's more than just tornado warning. I mean, they've got 60 different events, and when you get that radio, you can program which events you want. It's got anything in there from riots to landslides.
So that $5,300 divided by 26, that's 203 households.
But yeah, I got 200 more households in the East End that I've got to cover.
Okay.
And what I'm willing to do, I'm gonna step down too one day, but what I'm willing to do is to talk to the other trustees. And let's get them on board too. They've got more money than I got.
What's your scheduled meeting with all the trustees?
Be nice
That's
to,
not really my job,
Whose job is it?
emergency manage.
Well,
Because we'd like to discuss some things with the ambulance. And I'd be willing to sit in on behalf of the council if the council's willing, the new council's willing.
Pardon me?
there's-
I can't hear you.
I would like to sit in for the new council that's coming. I know these two are leaving, so we'll have a new president, but I'll take time to sit in, but I would like to sit down with all the trustees
And Tom?
and talk.
Sure, I would too. I'd like
And I'm
to
sure
say
we could probably
something.
get breakfast or lunch out of it, but
It'd be good.
Monty, if you'll set that up, we can make it happen.
I think it could be very productive.
It could be productive because
And-
things like this, and there's some other issues.
And then you could double your money, what you raised with the community foundation with a matching grant. They do
Well,
one every year.
I was gonna ask if the trustees bonded together on like this let's call this a specific project. And if the trustees came together on this specific project, you know, I think it would fit the bill for a grant through the foundation.
Well, see, I don't wanna call it a problem, the problem is because Perry Township is so big. You know, they've got so many more households, but they also have.
hold on, I think-
The
I think
sirens,
if we're talking county, I think we're excluding city limits.
okay,
Cause they got sirens.
In fairness, right?
right,
I mean,
They have sirens. Matter of fact, I mean, you could probably go beyond city limits, but you have to draw the line somewhere, so it probably has to be city limits.
well, I'm familiar with what the town of Crane went through, they just renewed all their stuff. And then they put money into that up there, but I also talked with CJ about, you know, was that the smartest way to go for them? Or should they have maybe went to, you know, radios instead, but. You know, and they did suffer a tornado that day too, the day we did, only theirs was down, I think it's Burn City, somewhere down in there, so. You know, I'm open to anything as far as that
I
goes.
suggest, that would be my suggestion. I know I'm not gonna be here. Is that me? No. I suggest getting a meeting with the trustees and if some of the
Work with the
commission,
plan.
if the commissioners and the council could be a part of it. I think there's other conversations that it'll lead to besides just weather radios. And if anybody wanted any input from myself, because I do have some experience with some of that stuff, I'd be more than willing to lend a helping hand.
Well, I know me and Jim agree on things, you know, anything fire related, you know. Fire department, it's expensive. And this is expensive stuff in the long run, but if it saves, like you said, it saves one life.
You know, why aren't the residents willing to pay $26 for their own radio?
Why aren't they?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a question they were so grateful, the ones that I handed out.
I wonder if it could be a countywide effort to make a list of people willing to buy them and get the
Mhm.
discount. If you're, say, 800,000
Well,
residents,
other than the thing that, you
800 to
know,
1,000 residents.
well, I got mine
wanted 'em.
free, you had to pay for yours, you know, that, you get into that opposite conversation there, so. But the thing
At
that
some
we
point, you gotta
stress-
take your own safety in your own hands.
Yeah,
It's kinda like putting your seatbelt on.
okay. All right, we'll see what we can do.
Thank you. Shoals Public Library Certificate of Appointment. What does that mean?
Yeah, I was contacted by Sylvia Allball that she had a library board member, Barbara Loomis, that her term was expiring as of November 30th. So that's why I'm bringing it in this meeting instead of the January meeting, so they can get her reappointed as one-year appointees to the Shoals Public Library Board.
I guess she wants to be reappointed.
Yeah, she does.
I'll make a motion to.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Council meeting dates and or salary and wage ordinance 2025.
Yeah, mostly because I ran out of room, so, council meeting dates, I have that in your packet. I have it as the first Monday of the month. Same as this year. 6 p.m. Except for Monday, August 4th. Put that one at 8 a.m. just for the annual budget workshop after that. Seemed to go okay, this year. Just seeing if,
Do you have a copy of this, Gerald?
No, I don't.
no.
Thank you. Exactly, so it's fine then.
Mhm.
Does anybody have any problems with the dates as Michelle's laid them out? Just looking at the holidays, it looks like it stays away from,
Yeah, I tried to double check the holidays, so.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. All in favor? Good.
Next, salary and wage ordinance 2025. It's just following the budget for the 5% increase. For the employees.
The range on 5118, correct?
Mm,
Five, what?
118. Or 9118, I'm sorry. The traffic safety enforcement.
Yeah, that's a grant and they get a time and a half
Okay, that's
for,
fine. That's a big difference. Motion to approve the salary and wage ordinance for 2025.
All in favor? Martin County Redevelopment Commission spending plan.
yes, this is informational,
Not some mess. Want you on the RDC?
Yeah.
The state requires us to have one now with the new policy, so we have to have.
Did I? Remember.
yeah,
You were
Cody's,
sitting right there.
Cody's correct,
I was, actually,
it is, required by the state. Jim Higgins from LWG, Associates, created the spending plan just based on the budget that was, council approved. So he did say the spending plan can be revised as the commission sees fit, but, yeah, we had to turn this into the state. So as of right now, contributions to local economic development organizations, 40,000. And let's see, there's one more line here. Sorry, I had it highlighted for the commissioners.
Professional development,
Oh, yeah.
professional services.
Yes, sorry.
I even remember I went to one.
73,900 for a total of 113,900. Is their proposed spending plan right now. So you can get one of those.
Oh. I don't know.
You never know what I might leave out.
So. We're approving the spending plan
Well, the redevelopment commission already approved it. This is just,
FYI, or
Yeah.
do we have to act on this?
you don't have to act on anything. Like,
Oh,
Jim Higgins just asked I present it to you guys. So. I gave it to the commissioners at their last meeting.
thank you. Keep going here. Transfer request, the general fund, we're going out of the general fund?
This is in the general fund, the circuit court
Oh, yeah.
budget, from equipment repair to furniture and equipment. Said she had to purchase new court reporter desk. One was broken, the other was inadequate, transferring from repair to furniture. But it was essentially to replace broken furniture, so,
But the equipment repair, won't they actually use that money?
no, she's not using that, I guess, this year, the remainder of what was in her budget.
So you're just transferring it to?
Yeah, transferring from equipment repair, which is the 3,000 to the furniture and equipment, which is the 4,000, the capital expense.
I guess as long as there's not additional appropriations later on in the,
No,
I guess this is the end of the year
it's
though.
still in her budget, yeah, just from one line to another.
Shall we burn it all.
Mhm.
It's up to you guys. Make a motion. I can't.
Motion to approve it. Transfer. Second.
All in favor? County user 2,500 prosecutor. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, from prosecutor expenditure, $3,120 to phone stipend, $2,500 per $368 and social security, $252. And she was on here, but I don't think she's anymore, but,
I don't understand this.
um,
So we're taking it out of prosecutor expenditure.
yeah, in the county user fund, still in the same fund.
We're putting it in bonus and or stipend, which is what? Who are we giving a bonus or who are we giving a stipend?
To one of her employees, she has 4 employees in there. I think 2 of them probably.
Was this discussed in the commissioners meeting?
No,
First I've heard of it.
Help me out.
I think she does it every year, and this got wrong. It didn't get in the proper place last year, and so it's correct and wrong in our,
Is it in the right place for 2025?
it is.
We
Yeah,
understood her,
Mhm.
it is. This was done wrong in 23. Never got corrected in 24, but was corrected in 25. Is that
So-
right, Michelle?
Yeah, that's right.
But we're splitting some up and going to perf and social security.
Because
To cover that.
She's
25.
paying, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What all departments get bonuses or stipends?
The
Not
prosecutors.
many. Hers, she has some IVD
I
funds.
see that in the sheriff's department. Don't they get some kind of bonus
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
stipend?
saying.
Is that the only 2 departments that?
County highway, get it, Teresa?
He, gave them a $200 boot allowance, and so we had to buy the jacket.
We've done that, the highway department last couple, 3 years, I know of.
Okay. We have a motion?
it's in next year,
Mhm.
in the right. It's to
Line
take
item.
it out of that right fund, so that it's not out of the general fund. I make a motion to approve it.
All in favor? ARPA fund 8951.
This transfer is, it's from supplies, $36,634.25 to capital expenditures, the same amount. And from miscellaneous expense, service, $15,837.68 to capital expense, same amount.
Transferring.
Yeah, transferring within the lines.
Or what?
This would be, most of it would be the, ambulance expense, the commissioners approved for the ambulance, whatever he had left appropriated for expenditures to, move that to a capital expense purchase.
So we approved it to go to supplies and miscellaneous expense
Mhm.
back a few months back, whatever that was. So now we're moving it to capital expense to make a capital purchase.
Yeah,
But if I understand correctly, so that total is $52,471.93. So that's all ARPA money. But if I understand correctly, that still does not cover the entire cost of. Mr. Osborne, you might as well come ahead forward. We've got Fund 4002 ambulance services for new equipment.
Yeah, that's actually a grant, so that's kind of a
Am I jumping ahead of myself?
little
then?
bit,
Okay,
that's grant for the,
you can tell me to shut up anytime. So we're moving from supplies, moving from miscellaneous expense to capital expense. $52,471.93. But the intent of that is to purchase a fourth ambulance. Is that correct, Jeremy?
All right, so the fourth ambulance is covered by, 2/3 of it, or approximately. ARPA, we're looking to move 25, from payroll that we saved on payroll this year. We saved 164,000 and change on payroll. I'm looking to move, 25 to buy the ambulance. Commissioners have already approved it, so I'm not asking for any extra money. I'm just asking to move from one line item to another. Did that answer the question?
So. We're moving from overtime, 25,000 to equipment and vehicles. And from EMT P1, $38,776,000 to equipment and vehicles.
and that was for a loader,
The
right?
second is for, yeah, for a stretcher loader,
The what? Sorry.
the stretcher to go with that.
All right, so we are moving in total. That's already in your budget,
Already in my budget, yes.
$63,776.64.
Correct.
That's money that's already in your budget, and that money is going towards the purchase of a fourth ambulance
Yep.
and a stretcher cot.
Yes.
Okay.
So it'll
So,
still be, if it matters, there'll still be over $100,000 that will go back to the general fund because we won't use it this year.
okay, so what about the $52,471.93 that's being transferred from ARPA? Is that going towards the purchase of the new ambulance as well?
Yeah, $42,432.95 is what ambulance had left budgeted in ARPA. So even though, you know, that's 52,000 that was in there, ambulance is only has this much of it. 42,000.
Where's the other 10?
It was,
There are a couple items that are still on that list, but
yeah, we have Lucas 3 still to pay for $14,993.96.
I think that's paid for. Pretty sure.
Yeah, Missy told me it was after this meeting. Mhm.
Okay.
So how much is the ambulance?
55.
55.
What year?
New ambulance,
2008.
2008,
and it's
55,000.
55,000.
And it's a Uvalars right now. What's it getting done, Uvalars?
Brakes, calipers, that kind of stuff.
But we don't own it, correct?
No,
It's the one that's been in their yard.
not my yard, but my parking lot.
So how long have you owned it?
About a year, maybe just over a year. I have a quote for a 2007, same setup, from the same place that I bought that one. It's for $69,950, if you're more interested in it.
So what else is it gonna take? Because my understanding of, outfitting an ambulance, it hasn't been the county made this commitment to see this endeavor through prior to even me being here. But what I've learned since me being here, it's not a cheap endeavor, for one. And it's quite expensive to outfit these trucks. So $55,000 seems like a freaking steal, right, for a new ambulance. However, I feel like there's more to that coming, right?
So with, if we're allowed to buy the power load system, stretcher, It would be this would be outfitted and licensed as a BLS ambulance, but to make it ALS, a basic ambulance. And the goods like the cardiac monitor is $50,000 and the drugs and all that stuff would be moved over to it if we have one in a shop that's down or what other kind of maintenance. So that movable stuff would be moved from one ambulance to the other,
Stretcher cot's not movable.
not the loading system, no. That takes a tech to come in and do all that. But so all your soft goods, all of your, all of that stuff would be. And most of that soft goods we already stock in our supply room as well. For runs, and we have to restock for runs.
What year are your three that you already own? That we
Two
already
thousand eight to
own?
2013 and 2014.
Mileage. Like, what do you, what do you,
86,000 on the 2008. 72 on, and I'm just ballparking
yeah.
here. On the 2013, probably close to 72, 75. And the 2014,
what's this 08 got on it that you're wanting to purchase?
it's got 120,
It's got what?
120.
What's the other one they have? The one for 69,000, where's the mileage of it?
It's roughly the same. I don't know.
Sorry.
But even like the box setup and everything is almost identical from that one.
It's a Duramax, like the rest of them.
They're all Duramaxes, yeah.
The one thing about an ambulance is the transmission goes out or it gets in a wreck or something, you're kind of in a bind. You can't go to the dealership and just pick one up or rent one.
And we rented one down at, when I worked for Memorial, and it was thousands of dollars a month, and it was a junk one off of somebody's lot that somebody turned in for a new one. Matter of fact, we never used it because the whole, at that time anyway, if you rented one, you had to do all the maintenance, all the upkeep, the new brakes and that kind of thing, but you're right, they're not readily available.
What's the fourth ambulance gonna be used for?
A backup for when one of ours is down for maintenance or,
From the other three?
mhm,
So you're not gonna staff this ambulance?
no. Staffing's the biggest expense we got.
So the plans to letter and or stripe, or we just going basic on this, we're not gonna wrap it in vinyl like we did.
No, it'll look, right now it's got the blue bottom on it. We can change that to red and white like the one that we currently have, but we don't need to. All we need to do is we need to put, I think we gotta put Martin County on it. It already has ambulance on the front.
Your statement.
Yeah, then 3 state numbers.
How's the tires? It's been sitting for that long.
I mean, they look good. I drove back to Pennsylvania.
What's the date on
I don't know. We do have tires set back,
Mm-hmm.
as well. That are already purchased.
When you told me today that everything you have to get taken to UVLR to get worked on, if you have a tire get blowed out, you have to take it to UVLR's to change it, or do you guys do that?
We don't. Johnny usually does that.
Who does?
Big John's, John Collision, Big John Collision. Anything that deals with the mechanical, sorry, I'm starting all over. Deals with the mechanicals by state law, you have to have a certified technician work on it. Unless they're not equipped. So if we have to have exhaust system worked on, UVLR's does not have the equipment to raise the trucks up and to do the exhaust, so we could take it to an exhaust specialized shop. But any kind of mechanical work, maintenance, state wants the GM dealership to work to do it if it's a GM product. And that's, I'm sure you've read things, that's kind of the state rules. And I've not had any luck getting a local diesel mechanic to be interested in working on them anyway, but really we can't. I did try to go to the local, they stock shop there in Longevity, but they didn't have the equipment to pick up our ambulance either, so.
What's it weigh?
The one 12,000 pounds, or what? Plus they also need the headroom.
Yeah.
So,
Can Wagler's not work on it?
I don't know.
Probably could.
I'm sure they could.
Does the state have to inspect it before it can be put on the road?
Yes.
How long does it take from the time you buy one to, until you can get it on the road?
I mean, it could be a week or less. State's pretty quick about coming down and inspecting, or they can give you a temporary inspection agreement that they'll come down the next time they're in the area.
So where do all the ambulances currently reside?
At the civil defense building.
All three of them?
Yes.
So there's still room for another ambulance
There's
there?
not.
So where would number 4 reside?
Well, at one time, Schultz had mentioned we could park one over there. I guess I would ask that question of him. The dude still have the bay open.
Bay's shut now, we got another truck. Yeah, forgot something.
There's room with the EMA if they just get rid of that ladder truck that's not moved in 5 years,
Where?
the EMA building.
I think it's good to have a backup. If it's this one or another one, I guess we'd be approving the cost, and then the commissioners would have to approve what they buy, wouldn't they?
The commissioners have already agreed to buy it. That's been done.
But just. It's a backup, and help me remember, Jeremy. So. Back when the commissioners agreed to buy the third ambulance. That was. Best I remember. That was a backup to the two that were gonna be dedicated.
Correct.
So now we're gonna get another backup so we got 2 backups?
Essentially, yes. You know, 10 years ago, we were required by contract, that service to have 3 trucks.
But they never did they?
They had,
They would,
they had 3 trucks.
required two.
You know, by contract, there were 3.
I worked there 17 years, we had two.
Okay. I can show you the contract.
I know, but we
Okay.
only had two.
Alright, so anyways,
I'm not, we aren't gonna do. But, so if we're going to do any kind of transfers or anything like that, you don't wanna use up our 2008 ambulance if you don't have a backup to support it. And they're older, they do require a little more work. You know, I mean, if you wanna go out and buy a $300,000 ambulance, ideally, they wouldn't be in the shop as much,
so
but
by adding this ambulance, you're saying theoretically, revenue should increase by doing more transfers.
I'm saying it'll open us up to where we could do more transfers, yes.
That was what was supposed to happen.
And you have the
We had
staff
a third one, no.
Do those transfers.
If they wanna work over, it'll be an overtime situation, yes.
Are we staffed? Do we even have the staffing to do the transfers today?
Yes. But getting aside, I'm not asking this just for transfer, but I think it's important for the county coverage to have it as well. You know, I think I was talking to you today about, last week we had 2 codes, 2 cardiac arrests in the county at the same time and needed the 3rd ambulance. Well, if one's in the shop, you don't have that. And then later on in the week, we had a wreck down Bledsoe Lane that had 4 patients. You know, although we don't staff them, the staff is really good about coming in, when they hear the calls go out and willing to stand up a 3rd truck. But if you have one down for maintenance for any reason, whether it's general maintenance, an oil change or something serious, we don't have that for the county anymore. And eventually, you're going to have to replace ambulances as they wear out. So if the opportunity's there, it seems like that's the opportunity, especially being that this is not new money, this is already allotted for the budget.
Seems like we're getting a pretty opportunity of a good price. And it's been driven back from Pennsylvania, so we know it's roadworthy. If we waited till we had a serious issue and had one or two broke down, it could cost a lot more if we had to hurry up and get something.
Absolutely. As of right now, this is part of your brief, which we may not have time for tonight, but, you know, we're over 230 runs more right now than what we did last year. And we haven't gone through December yet. So call volume is up as well. That's here in Cook County. Just for some examples, or not examples, but, Crawford County is similar in, population as we are, and they're getting a 5th truck right now. Their budget's also 1.9 for next year. My budget this year with the extra, with $100,000 going back in, I think is 1.1. You know, that's a $900,000 difference.
We also learned that they got some fairly large grant money early on, right, to help buy a truck or two. I think.
I don't know if it's 2 or not, but, and we're always looking at grants as well. But that's obviously not, that's never guaranteed.
I mean, the commissioners of me, I mean, I feel in my position fortunate that Jeremy, what equipment we have bought, with him being the one managing that, has done a great job of buying us good equipment. And this 4th one, we felt that, you know, down the road, we're gonna start replacing buses and we're not gonna be able to find it.
Definitely not finding them.
I don't know if you can hear me or not. This is Paul, but I mean, I just appreciate everything that Jeremy's done for us. I mean, we started this up on a Sunday night at midnight, and here's where we're at. And I believe that if he thinks, and I believe that we also need this 4th ambulance just as a backup, so our 13 and our 11 can keep fewer hours on them. I mean, I have no doubt. I have no reason to doubt this man. He's my director. I have no reason to doubt him.
I don't think anyone's doubting him, Paul, just for clarity. This is, I mean, you know how big of a deal it was whenever three years ago, and you know, what was it, 3 years ago? Whenever the county made the decision to move forward, but I think that the county made a commitment.
I mean, ultimately, you're getting an ambulance for $25,000 out of the general fund, not the general fund, out of still my budget, but that's what you guys got to set up, and you got an ambulance without additional appropriation down the road for 70,000 or whatever.
And it was stated to us at that point, you know, to use the ARPA money until it ran out. And the last ambulance come up, we didn't realize we was that short on the ARPA. We thought we had enough in there between what Jeremy had and what we had in ARPA to pay for it. That's why the commissioners went ahead and approved it. It wasn't like we were trying to step on anybody's toes. We thought we actually had the money, but it had been spoken for somewhere else.
My toes still hurt.
I hear you. I hear you.
I think it's needed, so I'd make the motion to put the money in for that.
I'll second it. All in favor? Where are you at, Sherry? All against? Okay, Sherry's opposed. Sorry, I should have been more clear about that.
And I told Jeremy that today. It's nothing against him. He's done a wonderful job, but I just have trouble with the 4th ambulance.
Okay. Well, I can appreciate that. All right. Is that all we had for Jeremy?
Fund 4,002.
Yeah, you wanna talk about that? That's,
Might as well.
What we're going up?
your grant that you got from the 20,000.
It's a grant for the, part of that system we've just talked about. The grant came
Lucas Three.
from Martin County Community Foundation, I believe,
Mhm.
and, commissioners did, cover the matching part of it. So we're just asking that you remove it from the donated, I'm gonna mess this up, but the donated fund to use full fund.
Yep. And it's for new equipment. I don't know what
Yes.
Lucas 3 means. That means nothing to me.
Yeah, the power lift.
Oh, okay.
So how much total does it cost for this power lift? For
For
putting
the entire
20 here?
system, it's 37 times 2, whatever that would be.
74.
Because you got the cot and then you've got the arms that come out and pull the cot in. Right?
For two or one?
For one sort of full system.
Okay, okay.
Two pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all we're really talking about is $20,000 and getting in an account that can be utilized.
Yeah, just transferring it.
That's what we're up against here.
So I'll make a motion to transfer the 20,000.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Sherry's opposed. Okay. Sorry, we're kind of bouncing around, so I think that's everything. Jeremy?
Okay, you just wanna do a double brief next month for the last 2 quarters of this year? Yeah, fine, we'll do that.
Do you have that there?
I do have that.
I don't think that's on the. If it has a map, we can look at it.
It's however you guys wanna run it, right, there's no difference. I mean, it only take 5 minutes, but. So this is for the 3rd quarter. I apologize, it's taking so long. Like every Monday, I'm on a reference here. The backside is the exact same thing. It's just smaller, so I prepared it. So I updated, the total runs today. Runs to this date, 2023 with 1,109. 24, it's 1,331. We currently brought in $404,000. I do have a deposit. Hopefully by tomorrow. Last year at this time, we brought in 349,000, almost 350,000.
So 404,000, you mentioned that this is quarter total
That's,
through September, but it says date compiled of today.
the runs below everything, the top, the totals, I just recompiled today.
Okay, so 404,000 is as of today, not the end of Q3.
As of today, that's what I turned into the treasurer. Yes.
Alright.
I've got another deposit for tomorrow, but, yes,
Like $200,000 deposit or,
no, it's probably 5 or 6.
okay.
And then each block below that's July, August, September, but I didn't change June to September, I should have. That's where it is. So July, we had 106 runs. August, we had 92. The bottom was supposed to be September, we had 111 runs.
So you'll end the year at 450,000 total money collected. Now, is that money that's been invoiced or actual money
That's
being
dollars
collected?
in our pocket.
So we're operating off a cash basis,
Yes.
not accrual. But if we were looking at this on an accrual basis, what would the total income be? Meaning, what's out there in receivables?
I don't-
Does that make sense? When it's
It
outstanding?
does, but yeah, I don't know that. Our billing has not given us those reports.
It blows my mind that we can't have can't know, don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I mean, it just absolutely.
I agree,
mind
yeah.
to me.
It's a weekly conversation in our office that,
We talked a lot about, collections versus whatever.
We talk a lot about collections and
We're still looking. Cause you know, there's a state program that can attach it to the tax,
you know,
property taxes. Versus going to collections. Crawford County likes the property taxes route. So I believe the auditor's office and treasurer's office is looking into that.
But that would just be from like, okay, January 1 going forward,
Not necessarily, no, you go backwards.
but we don't even know how much that is.
You remember what it was, the last one was,
I think like 200,000 last time we,
well,
And
How many of those are Medicare or Medicaid?
I don't even know if we
there
got,
shouldn't be any. Medicare, Medicaid pay.
All right, so let me, I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a minute. Let's say we've collected 400,000 this year. Let's say we end the year at 450,000. What's Jeremy's budget? $1.1 million. That's a deficit of how much money? Okay. I think everyone has the numbers from budget time. It's not going to continue to sustain at this rate. It's not. You're gonna run out of money. And I know this is my last meeting. I've been saying it for months. And we haven't done anything about it. I think that's why Monty wants the trustees to meet, because the trustees need to get involved in this. The city of Lagodi needs to get involved. The town of Shoals needs to get involved. We need, I know I'm leaving, but that EMS tax, and since we're talking to the public here, the EMS tax is simply moving or reallocating some tax. It is not adding any tax whatsoever to any household. That's gotta happen. Because we're gonna make up money from the town of Shoals and the town of Lagodi. The town of Lagodi, they're aware of it. I think town of Shoals, we've talked about it enough. They're aware of it. It's got to happen, folks.
Lagodi was 88.
Town of Crane, yeah. Lagodi was
It
88,000.
was a fair
Which-
tax across.
Which honestly is a very small amount compared to what theirs probably should be.
And I think Crane was 3,000.
It wasn't much.
I can't remember what Schultz is.
So
Sold was about 80. Seemed like it was 10% of what Lagodi's was, but it don't matter. I mean, it's a small amount.
at the current rate, I mean, it's not sustainable. It wasn't sustainable. Jeremy knew that. He was very open. I was here in those meetings. It was never gonna be sustainable. And yet we have still done nothing about it. We just pulled 600, we're getting ready to pull $650,000 out of edit money. So that's gonna take a big hit.
Medicare, Medicaid.
We can charge more, but
Yeah, but I
insurance and
mean,
Medicare,
I
Medicaid,
don't know.
they have their own rates.
contractuals, yeah.
But they're gonna have their rates, and I doubt it if you can go put the rest of that on the tax.
Medicare and Medicaid is actually a law,
That's
and
what I
once they
thought.
pay, I think it's over.
That's what I thought.
They might have a very small, couple $100 deductible.
I
but-
think when you agree to that number, it's,
Right.
so those can't, once they've paid, those can't be counted as outstanding.
And it's my understanding for all of our outstanding debt, while it may be $250,000, you might see 30 or 40,000. From everybody I've talked to, you're not gonna see six figures. It's gonna end up being bad debt of some sort. I have talked to,
How does that work? Bad debt to me means something different to you, because I'm writing bad debt off, right? And then it hits the books differently.
Collection service won't be bad debt.
No, but
Go on the credit report. I don't know if we would do that. That would be,
Tax position.
Like, where's it come from the
Yeah.
county?
hmm,
Where does it go to the county? I mean, we don't have bad debt in the counties.
yeah,
Georgia
it
Street.
would be a
So it's just money lost?
write-off, yeah.
We write off money?
if we haven't, but yeah, that would be,
I mean, why can't we?
I don't know.
That's what,
It's gonna have to be
What- what
explored
do you-
next year.
it
What
would
do
be
you
a
think?
policy that,
that's what we do.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but if you write it off, how's that work? Cause it don't make any sense.
That's what I'm asking.
that's what,
That's, yeah.
We'd have to build a policy around that,
Well, we can go down that big. big
that rabbit
dark-
hole's gonna have to go down
That's
next
a
year.
big dark one, that you can deal with next year. Okay, well. Point is, something has got to happen. I mean, we're in better shape than we were. And hopefully with another unit, you can maybe look into some other profit center, if you will. Did we vote for the fund 4,002?
mhm,
Yeah.
we did, yeah.
Okay,
You implied when you had the fourth ambulance, you could take some more transfers, right?
I seen an ambulance at the Hoosiers game Saturday night. It was all Indiana Hoosiers. You guys are tailgating ambulance, a little different than yours. I don't have anything else. Do you? Does anybody else have anything?
Well, when you do your, transports.
Yes.
What do they typically pay? I mean, I know Medicare, Medicaid probably pays a set amount.
It goes anywhere, it's gotta be profitable or we don't go,
I
right?
understand that,
And
because we're paying people on overtime.
right, and that's figured in the overtime rate, that's figured in a mileage rate, not only for the fuel, but also for upkeep on ambulance, which is $1 a mile, what I figured. So it can be anywhere from $300 for a transfer, or we did one to Jasper, last week. And we'll net, we took them to Jasper and back, we'll net a little over $2,000 for that figure, just right. And that's how big the broad bill is. If it's a Medicaid run, you're not making a whole lot of anything. If it's, like Heart to Heart Hospice, they pay the entire bill, they don't argue with us. So that's how broad the possibility is.
So the $2,000 one was in heart to heart
That was
situation?
the Heart to Heart, yes, that one there was.
What about private?
Can we get
pay?
a
Do
contract
they
with them
not-
to do that?
Private pay, we don't transfer for private pay. Like a self-pay, private pay, we won't do it. We might consider it for a county resident, but we won't go to the hospitals and pick up a patient, take them to the hospital for private pay. The hospitals can eat that. You know, they can, it just doesn't pay well on anything.
Since Heart to Hearts pays the bill like that, do we need to be in a contract with them? To get all their runs?
We get just about everything in Martin County from them immediately. We've got a good relationship with them. So, and we're looking at possibly branching out, now that we've got the ability to do that. I just don't wanna run out
I
and,
understand.
you know, tear up the truck and then we don't have three no more. But, yeah, it's pretty broad.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all's time.
Additional appropriations, prosecutor, pretrial diversion fund 2501. $168 to perf, $115 to social security, and $1,500 to bonus and stipend.
Yeah, the prosecutor sent this in, prosecutor said they do, a lot of the pretrial diversion work. She has two ladies in her office that do all the upfront work. The money comes from the court, the clerk of the court receives that in, and it goes in specifically this fund. So this is, bonus for those two ladies doing this pretrial diversion work. And we didn't budget anything in it this year, so
Why
that's
can't
why.
we use the money that we just done back here?
Yeah, it's a different fund,
I think this is the rest of it, isn't it?
yeah. Part of the money goes in county user and then part of the money goes in pretrial diversion. And the way the prosecutor explained it, it was years ago going into all 2,500 from the clerk, but then the state made them split it into two funds.
Okay. Total for pretrial diversion fund, $1,783 for additional appropriation. There a second? If not, the motion dies. And we'll move on. All in favor? All opposed? All opposed. Edit Fund 1112, bridge repairs, Bridge 58. So we've got 650 here. Teresa, did we get a real number?
$636,883.52.
Can you repeat that?
6,000, or $636,883.52.
My email said about that, so it is,
That's what
okay.
Scott just sent me. I can't get my email to open up.
That's why I went high, just so you know, because it said around that.
Yes, from Brandy, your local match will be around.
Motion to pay the $636,000 out of the edit for the bridge 58.
$636,883.52,
Yeah,
right?
$838.52.
Motion,
Motion
second, all in favor? Okay. General Fund, Fund 1000, Sheriff's Department, longevity bonus.
Yeah, sheriff's already paid from the commissary. We got a, check for $20,000 from him. So from the sheriff's department,
From what?
commissary.
Okay.
$17,560.96, for the sheriff's department, and for the jail, $2,439.04.
And you said he gave you a check for
20,000, yeah, from commissary.
Wait a minute, what's that courthouse custodian on that line item for?
Oh, that'll be next, but, we had to pay the two custodians ago, earlier this year, like vacation payout, PTO payout, cause he'd been a long time employee.
Why is it in, oh, it's still in general, okay.
Yeah.
Separate.
Yeah, it's still in the general fund, yeah, but separate.
Well, you can break them up or we can roll them together.
It's already all together.
23.5.
Total for general fund, $23,500. Is there a motion? All in favor? ARPA capital expense infrastructure for 33,000.
Yeah, that's the remainder of the funds in there. Commissioners approved at their last meeting for highway, heating and air, to be replaced by JT Mechanical for $8,710.78. They approved Ekmundi to replace a phone system in the jail for $10,508. And then what we talked to Jeremy about, the Lucas 3, that was the power load system.
For an additional 15,000.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, 15,000. And we have,
What's left in ARPA
um,
after all of this tonight?
about 3,500, because
Where are you spending that at?
Trying to get rid of, getting rid of it.
I got an idea.
I do too.
I got a better one, but go ahead.
All of my elected offices does not collect money. The ones that do are giving out stipends to their employees. Some of the people that work in the other offices are some of the lower paid. Is there any way we could give the stipend out of that money to the other offices? And I'm sorry, guys, just to spring this on you. I was just thinking it here tonight. Like for all the deputies, is there any way we could give that out of there to them?
All the,
$1,000
are you
not gonna
talking,
go far.
like the deputy auditor or like?
Deputies now.
All the people that work in the courthouse that's not in, I mean, we've got a couple offices that bring in money, otherwise they have extra money so they can give out stipends. Well, my auditor, she has no money brought in.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's not fair that the ones that can't be a profit center doesn't get the,
So
gotcha.
I think he's itemizing the sheriff's department, the prosecutor's office, and the judge's department, correct, Paul? And that's what I'm hearing.
That's correct. That's correct, Cody.
Yeah,
What about
so-
what about the rest of us? Can we spread that out a little bit of holiday cheer for them, or?
Yeah, I'd say how much was it, Michelle, 3,600 or something?
3,500.
Can we use
Let's get
that?
rid of it on the books. Warren's been telling me to get rid of it all year.
Can the ARPA money, can we use it? Is that?
That's actually what it was designed for.
It was designed for several things,
But that was the key thing.
I can't remember the detail, but we got, yeah.
Pay reimbursement was the number one thing that it was made for.
And that'd get us
And it's
there.
really odd that it just come down to this amount, guys. I mean, it's not really that bad.
So how many employees are you talking?
3,500.
I mean, $3,500 is not gonna go very far.
Probably pushing 50-ish.
No,
Or just the courthouse. Yeah, I guess
The highways getting their clothing allowance,
Oh, okay.
basically.
that's right, yeah.
So just people on the main floor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we give the highway I think this year, Teresa, did we go to $200 safety allowance?
Yes.
How many people's up there?
5 or 20, less than 20.
5 years.
Then elected.
16 at least up here.
But I'd get them close around 200 or.
200.
That's what the highway department got. It's $200. Pretty fair.
So we need a motion
You're
to,
saying you're in favor of that?
so we need a motion to approve that, then we wanna make it a round number for the employees. We make up the difference of like, make them all $200.
I think you let Michelle make it even
Yeah, that's what I
for,
mean.
for her math. You can approve that, the remain, all right, so I guess the question is, are we willing to approve what's left in ARPA to distribute amongst the courthouse employees that otherwise don't get a bonus?
Stipend. We'll call it stipend.
Yeah, but I don't know that the court downstairs gets anything. Throw a wrench in the. in the system.
I'd say just whatever,
I
however many employees divided by the,
thought he gave
3,600 divided by,
employees down.
she doesn't however many employees it would take.
Yeah, I think she does. She gives it up and down here.
What I was asking was anybody that doesn't receive a stipend or a bonus, just
Yeah,
receive that out of the ARPA.
All we need to do is approve the money and you can figure out what to do with it.
That is your problem.
Do we wanna take it? Authorize her to go up to 5,000, find another 1,400 or whatever if she needs it to.
Did you miss the $700,000 comment about the ambulance?
yeah, they'd probably be happy as what we can get.
I think we can make it work with 3,500, Warren. We just everybody can get a little bit of something. I was just asking. I'm sorry to put you guys on the spot by doing that, but I mean, when we had it, I thought that's the way to where we won't have that next year's audit.
Do we have a motion to,
I
Are
make
you
a
gonna make it for
motion.
your full-time and part-time? I mean, I think it's only
Full-time.
fair.
Full-time only. So
Um,
your motion is full-time only.
So your motion needs, you want your motion in such a manner that the remaining ARPA money, approximately $3,600 plus or minus, is divided amongst the full-time employees that does not receive a stipend. Is that correct, Paul?
That is correct, Monty.
is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Warren second, all in favor?
All
Opioid unrestricted fund, professional services, $3,000.
Hey, Jordan,
Jor-
you didn't prove the rest of that article.
Yeah, we still got the county highway garage, heating and air.
I was saving that for something else.
on the clock when you get her out of here.
Don't pay it.
You guys approved that, I
Yeah.
can't help that.
The other $33,000. 8, 10, and 15.
I'll make a motion to approve the 33,000 for infrastructure.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Oh, now you can leave, Teresa.
Okay.
Thank you.
Opioid unrestricted fund, $3,000 for professional services.
What professional services?
mhm.
I think Cody knows what that.
Yes, it was
What was
the
it?
school,
the
the,
opioid.
So the, over Lagodi, we hire,
I can't remember what it's called.
gosh, dang it,
something first.
I was here.
Me and Jordan.
I don't
know what it
remember.
is too.
it's
You're right.
green in color, I can't, and we done it through Alliance last year, and then when we went to Alliance, I recommended we use the unrestricted funds, opioid unrestricted funds for this, and we, $3,000 on first,
Yeah, sorry, I apologize.
youth first.
Yeah.
Yeah, youth first.
Yeah, and they counsel over at Lagodi School.
And they don't do that here, right?
They elect not to do that either. That's, the Lagodi school system set that up several years back. Shoals has opted not to do it. So. we don't-
It has really got a lot of traction in DuBois County.
I didn't think they did it here.
They do a lot of
That can be taken
fundraisers.
out of the- is it- It's an educational thing, it can be taken out of the restricted fund also, can it?
Honestly, I'm not sure what restricted could be
Yeah, you want it to come out later.
used. I know the JREC
Yeah,
has plans for,
yeah, you want
Restricted.
it to come out later. Okay, do we have a motion? Okay, all in favor?
who was the second? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Okay. I do have one more thing since, from ARPA for the stipend, since right now I have it all in capital expense infrastructure with the transfers. Like right now, the balance of the 81,609.95 is sitting in capital expenses with the approvals tonight. Now I need a transfer up to salaries, up in the 1,000. There's my, so I'm asking for a transfer now of 3,500 from a capital expense.
3,500 each.
I'll second.
All in favor? Anything else for the good of the cause? Mrs. Smith?
I have a question. The wage ordinance for 2025, is that public, will that be in the paper? I'm assuming with no names.
Yep.
That will be published in the paper.
Yeah, I'll put it on the website too.
I'm sorry.
I'll put it on the website too.
Okay.
Mhm.
Paul, do you
I
have
have one
something?
more, I have one more thing.
You haven't, never mind. Go ahead.
I want to thank Preacher Gibson for all of his years of service. I want to thank Adam Green. I want to thank Jordan Dant. Been an honor to serve with you. You're on the council, we're a commissioner. But I appreciate everything you've done for the county. You've done us a great job. Whether we always agreed or not, we're not supposed to. I appreciate everything you guys done for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I agree with what he said.
I do too.
All right. The courthouse will be closed the following days, Tuesday, December 24th for Christmas Eve, Wednesday, December 25th for Christmas Day, Tuesday, December 31st for New Year's Eve, and Wednesday, January 1st for New Year's Day. Next council meeting will be Monday, January 6th at 2025. I personally would like to wish you guys all best of luck and the new council members as well. It's been a pleasure and an honor, and, yeah, everyone have a good holiday.
For the record, I don't know who's the smartest in the room.
Definitely not me.
But if you want to go look at Indiana code, Indiana's code is not designing highway systems to go through the state. When we signed that letter, the ones of us that's here that did that, that's adding support, but it is not our job to do that. It is our job to, as citizens, we can throw some weight behind it, and we did as a group, but that is not anywhere in the council's description, according to the state. So,
There's another date, the courthouse will be closed for lunch.
Oh, yes, thank you. This
December 6th.
Friday, the 6th, 11 to 1 for a Christmas party and dinner hosted by German American, which we do thank them for that.
I think I missed the invite.
I did too.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Last time?
Yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you, Keith.
might have forgot to find our answer machine. She won't answer her phone.
My wife called me, she says